The framework of cooperation between the Gambia and the European Union started in 1976. Today, the Gambian-EU Development Cooperation is even stronger, especially so after 22 years of dictatorial rule.
Obviously, everything changed in December 2016. At that moment, the level of our cooperation was very limited, but it is at that moment that the Gambia has decided. And similarly, the EU has decided to support the country in its democratic transition.
The delegation of the European Union in the Gambia remained open throughout the now infamous 2016 political impasse, ensuring that, against all odds, assistance never stopped. And even during the worst parts of that crisis, the EU was there to assist, and still are, ensuring an even more lasting legacy of development in the Gambia. EU development policy seeks to foster the sustainable development of developing countries, with the primary aim of eradicating poverty. It is a cornerstone of EU relations and contributes to the objectives of EU external action, alongside foreign, security and trade policy.
EU is one of our most important partners, and they have been very, very supportive. Since I came to power, I think EU have been doing very well for the Gambia. They have been giving us budget support, technical support, and even they went further to finance the ECOWAS contingent in the Gambia. So our relationship have been very, very good.
It was apparent that the country, although now able to move on from a 22-year dictatorship, had another pertinent issue.
Our institutions were broken, our system was completely broken, our sectors were polluted. So these were challenges. Our economy was completely broken.
It was a concern for the EUD in that a bankrupt democracy cannot serve the aspirations of its people. Thus, a few short months after Commissioner Mimica's visit, the EU secured a budgetary support disbursement of 1.375 billion Gambian dalasies. This enabled the new government to stabilise its financial position and allowed for payment of salaries and other bills for 2017.
The EU came to rescue Gambia. And in that process also, they helped the Gambia to organise a donors conference. The donors conference was a very successful one. There are pledges up to 1.45 billion euros.
The direct budget continues to support operations and has contributed to improving the macroeconomic situation of the country by helping to reduce domestic borrowing, interest rates and reserves in months of import cover.
In addition to that also, they've provided substantial budget support from last year coming into this year.
The level of our cooperation was around 30 million euro. By the end of this year, we will have a current portfolio of 350, so more than a tenfold increase. It's really a huge effort because we believe in the Gambia.
In order to achieve this, the EU provides resources for projects in many areas, including rural development, agriculture and food security, governance, security and rule of law, employment, inclusive sustainable growth and trade, migration, infrastructure, energy, climate change resilience, and roads and transport. The support from the EU has provided the Gambia with some immediate benefits, with one major one being security and stability through EU support of the economic operation in the country.
They've participated in supporting the security sector, particularly the presence of ECOWAS troops in the country,
as well as support to security reforms that are highly needed to build up the security sectors of the nation to adapt to the highest standards of professionalism.
And my name's Chris Jagger. I'm the SSR advisor here, funded by the EU within the Office of National Security here at State House in Banjul. The role of the SSR advisor is quite broad. I'm here to provide advice, coaching and mentoring on the reform process. There are many activities within that. Some of the things that we've delivered so far are the Gambia Police Bill. We helped revise this, which is now in the process of becoming an act. We also contributed towards the security sector reform strategy and the newly released national security policy. So those are some of the things that we've done already, in addition to our general coaching of the SSR process. I will be mentoring a project to stand up a vetting capability, security vetting, to vet the security institutions. This is a critical part of the reform process and will assist in building trust and integrity in the security community.
The EU cooperation is well set to contribute effectively to the overall development of the country. Projects are in place to boost food and nutritional security, as well as to help add value to the vulnerable in our communities, where subsistence farming is the only means of subsistence.
In the Gambia, agriculture represents 25 to 30% of the GDP and is a livelihood for more than 80% of the active population in rural Gambia. Therefore, this project has been funded by the EU and defined together with the government and partner to address the key challenges agriculture in the Gambia is facing.
We start implementing the project entitled Agriculture for Economic Growth, and this one is the seed certification component of it. First, a service of a consultant in the person of Dr. Adetumbe Adedayo was hired.
We have started well, and the future is bright for the country in terms of seed certification. The major beneficiary of this project are the farmers. Now their productivity is increasing because they are now having access to quality seed.
Waxtu ñu joxe jiwu gerte ak jiwu engrais ak jiwu mbokk ba pare dinañ di ñëw da nga ko jënd ko ci ñun prix boo xam ne prix bu baax la loolu ñu ngi leen ci sant bu baax di leen ci gërëm loolu yokkute bu mag la ci ñun.
It has also benefited women. We have a lot of women willing to come into agriculture because of this issue of money in seed business. So it's actually attracting a lot of investors.
Man maa ngi tudd Awa Diagne, Boyaram champion farmer seed growers in Sierra South. Kon man dama dee bay jiw demee ni gerte, mboq, dugub, maalo ak ñebbe. Man ak waa NSS ñoo dee liggéey ndax jiw yi nga xam ne loolu laay ji NSS ñoo ko yónnee jiw bi jox ma ko ma ji ko ngir mu mën a nekk qualified jiw boo xam ne keneen dina ko mën a jëriñoo.
Several interventions are being undertaken at different capacities to add as much value to the livelihoods of farmers and budding entrepreneurs.
Since we started in 1979, the mandate has been shifting, we have been changing. But one thing we did not change is our focus on women and poor people whose rights are violated. We never changed our mandate on those ones. We have always been focusing on them.
Jàng bi nga xam ne loolu lañu action et jànga ci projet bi dem ne ba tax na jigéen yu bari léegi ñun tam ñu ngi góorgóorlu xam ne ñun ndeke dañ war a am ay fas dañ war a am ay nag dañ war a am suuf comme góor ñi ñun tam ñu ngi am fit pour travailler su dara dikkee ñu am suñu wàll wala su liggéey jotee ñun tam ñu am suñu fas boo xam ne ñoo ko moom si biir kër gi wala nag boo xam ne ñun ñoo ko moom ñu mën a wax ne waaw lii suñu nag la
bayi to leen to karando fana na muso yara nyanto don ibita nyami bina e ba e san kunko isata no ke isada no ke obula di ya doku baro to muso buka siye mira e kunko fana do kontol be ten to lambe jayida.
But now, with the intervention of the project supported them with vegetable gardens, and in these gardens, we provide them with wetting shades, we provide them with water facilities, we fence the garden to standard, we ensure that there is also toilet facilities, and these gardens are just stone's throw from where they live.
Rural development continues through the construction of rural roads and expansion of electricity.
The project that we are involved in at the moment is EU-funded Feed the Roads program. The communities benefit through, first is the access that we seek to provide, access to facilities, to markets, when the rural communities do their farming, they are able to supply to the markets, and they are also able to access schools, health centers, and the like. The other thing is the direct benefit we are having by employing the rural Gambians, because they are the ones who are doing the construction themselves.
Ala ko kontana wartantol fe baake ni sado kono jari nindan na sato be kanta e batale bayintol faol bala babay kam bala baake batame yalen ko nunto mbe bulare mantorol men kono bi mantrawol kono min silo yatina ko alhamdulillah mi ala tentulam bota mantora bale kono silo do ko dato ni bitem kanto birin silo man do ko woto mo nimbita dulalto bula jengol men yalen ko ka bonela sato do kay silo ta kata silo be tiñare.
For many Gambian families, malnutrition, the result of a combination of economic, agricultural, and social factors, as well as climate change, is still a life-threatening issue, and this is not neglected in our action plan through interventions like this one.
This is a 2-year or 3-year project funded by the European Union through UNICEF to help build resilience of women and their children, focusing on the first 1,000 window of opportunity.
Then they know just if you 600 where bude. When you then def live it okay compi. Legs ma jëlé fi 600. Dama day dem jël 300 yi ma tek benen 300 ma jënd ci saabu wala suma jëlaté ma jënd sa xalé bu yéré. Légui tek buñ dé tek ñu suma téggé dama ci jënd bay.
We are encouraging women by giving them cash transfer when they register in the first trimester of their pregnancy, meaning in their first 3 months of their pregnancy, they are giving a cash transfer.
I am na kolia kama no kolia bundal to kada ngajelo ko binya tara mutata fo mam fenzoron ke mam sembo soto ko kodo nga fengol min sanyi sadio min sande ha wala ngani kodo min safe account min tara fo ngalon ko mbatata nsita nga do bondi je wa tara manta moya nso wala ngara moya ndondo wala be na kulon nani onde wala na ngaji be odam mandama o yela do ko ense o bad.
With safety nets, such as school meals and biofortification programs, the EU has shown a drive to improve food and nutrition security.
Just looking back at what the EU has given us under this EDF 11, we have 2 tranches that we have received from the EU, both amounting to about 9.7 million euros. And with one of them, we support the government to implement the school feeding program, and is actually the largest social safety net in the country. We have been able to support about 150,000 children going to school with a daily meal each day. So not only do we implement school feeding to really improve the education outcomes, in terms of reducing dropout rates, increasing enrollment and attendance, we have been able to impact and increase the number of girls that are going to school. And by the end of the MDGs, Gambia had actually achieved gender parity, in schools.
Special care has been taken in designing programs that would assist the most vulnerable members of Gambian society, women and children, particularly those in rural communities.
SOS, as you know, is a global organization. We are in 136 countries in the world, and we've been in the Gambia here for 37 years. We started in 1982.
Yung project ko di anatan tole na fa bala komi tol sate sabol jimara tundoga entel sate sabol le tombo tabaja ko semar fatako ina da time mo ne ko tel mo project le to muli yalo ko ina ta ka dindol ma ko ani muli yalo e kol me bulol me kol ben ani baye dingol komi tel la ba ko robe dikiri wolle ka.
Last year in August 2018 we also received funding, a grant of around 400,000 euro to which is basically on sustainable nutrition improvement for 3 communities in the Upper River region in the Jimara district. We are targeting families whom they're in difficult circumstances in terms of providing good nutrition for their children.
A whole new programme has been launched to assisting Gambians returning from the back way, facilitating their reintegration by enabling them to more easily find new opportunities in the Gambia. Headed up by established actors such as IOM, these projects have offered a lifeline to Gambian youths.
Since the beginning of 2017, through this project, we have brought back 4,200 plus Gambians that were overwhelmingly stuck in a difficult situation, stranded in Libya, Niger, and other areas of Northern Africa on the infamous backway. But in a nutshell, we support the most vulnerable, be it people with medical condition or psychosocial care, and we provide the specialized care. But we also then, generally for everyone, try to create income generation activities. That's the integration assistance that we would be providing. So
yeah, right now I say thank God because of I don't think about this pathway. I go back to pathway. I don't think about right now. I think about this workshop. This workshop here is my life because of the IM. They so help me. The IM they give me that money. So that money I maintain that sock and I succeed.
There are several key actors who have received EU funding and are collaborating with each other and with local organisations and skill centres in order to reach those who need help most.
We train people on construction, architectural draftsmanship, plumbing, solar and electrical installation, catering, tailoring, as well as journalism.
I get encouragement from them here, and I become to have passion for solar installation. I have passion for it and electrical installation as well. I want to take it as my career. Yeah, I want to be my own boss.
Yeah, the project is very, very important. At least the project is training them. You can be self-employed or you can be employed.
Though youth seem concentrated in the urban areas, we are effectively reaching those in rural areas and rolling out projects with multiple scopes, often incorporating vital elements such as solar power and agro-entrepreneurship as a way to create sustainable and eco-friendly future generations.
Overall objective of contributing towards the socio-economic development and nurturing of positive prospects for the local population and returning migrants. When YEP come, they introduce another technology. So after all, we have some discussion. They told us that there will be a trip that's supposed to go to India for this study. Yeah, so I was the lucky person to be selected in my youth association to represent the youths.
One of the biggest actors in promoting youth empowerment is the ITC YEP project, initiated by the EU, signing an €11 million package for a 4-year programme.
So YEP came into the Gambia to support the government and the people of the Gambia in terms of its development agenda, but looking and focusing more in terms of youth empowerment. And this is what we're working on is really in terms of providing the necessary skills to the young people, but also giving them also the support when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to access to finance as well. This way we're able to create sustainable jobs. For us, the approach is really to look at what is needed by the market. One, in terms of so that we're able to provide them with the necessary skills to be either job seekers or being job creators as well.
Our partnership with YEP, the Youth Empowerment Project, started in 2017. YEP helped us reach out nationwide to have a curriculum that is very inclusive, that is addressing the needs of all the young people, as well as the needs of the industry as well.
Honestly, YEP has changed my life because it's like my ambition, the desire that I wanted, that is what they have given to me. It's like they are shaping my life or they are shaping my future, career, you understand? So basically, they have shaped my future.
My name is Mohamed Jara. I am from Nyomi at North Bank. Well, in this opportunity, I'm trying to build myself either by employing people or get to gain employment in the industry.
When it comes to skills development, we've graduated over 1,500 young people.
YEP came up with this idea because we have been seeing the kind of tourism that has been happening in the country. It's like it's all been stationed on the urban areas, that is in the Banjul areas. So they come up with this and brought along experts from the International Trade Center, which is the ITC, that train us as the local trainers here in the communities. So we did our surveys and identified 2 communities. So we sat together to see how best we can help these villages come up with potential products that they feel like they need to share it with the rest of the world.
Thank you to the EU, the Youth Empowerment Project, and then the ITC, because there were a lot of success stories registered. As we stand, the Janjambra Youth Center will be very soon developed by YEP. We are going to have a gift shop, a bicycle set, a tourism information center. You know, we already have a CBD coordinator who's going to be stationed at the youth center. So these are all support that we receive from the Youth Empowerment Project through EU and ITC.
The Youth Empowerment Project, or YEP, is now a household name in the Gambia thanks to its support of effective initiatives for youths. This is just one of the partnerships that does precisely that. Well-acknowledged successes. Fisheries fall under the remit of specific agreements combating the scourge of illegal vessels that damage Gambian fish stocks and the environment at large. To combat this, the EU and the Gambia agreed on a new sustainable fisheries partnership agreement in 2018 that will strictly regulate European fishing in Gambian waters, reinforcing the Gambia's capacity for sustainable governance of its fisheries and aquatic stock.
Overall, they are supporting us to make sure we have a fishery sector that is sustainable, a sector that will continue to benefit present and future generations. This is the most fundamental thing. And trying to combat illegal activities, illegal fishing practices goes a long way in supporting or enhancing this sustainable management of this sector.
We do hope that the Gambian story can show that it is possible. One can achieve it. That when a people is really willing to express his voice and work hard, they can live in democracy with much more freedom. They can also have a better life. So that's what we do hope for the Gambia. And we do hope that we can bring our little contribution to that effect.
I think Gambia have benefited, but I think it's a win-win situation.
From budgetary support to women and youth empowerment to resilience to climate change, the Gambia-EU Cooperation has proven to be vital to the sustenance and development of the Gambia, and its mandate will carry on